Okay guys, we continue with our mathematics classes. Today we will see the introduction to the unit number 2, trigonometry. Okay, now we'll see what is the trigonometry. It's a part of mathematics that study the relation between the length of sides and the measure of the angles of right triangles. This is important. Only trigonometry study the right triangles. Okay, to define that relations functions, and its names trigonometric functions. Then we have sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, this is a chart that defines the values of that trigonometric functions, but you need to remember the relation of sides for every function. For example, the first one, sine, sine, is the opposite side and hypotenuse. You need to relate that information. Cosine is used to relate adjacent side and the hypotenuse, and the tangent is used to relate the opposite side and the adjacent side. This is the graph or chart for the trigonometric functions. I would use GeoGebra to define that. If you remember that chart, to get the values of the sine, cosine, or tangent, I will use the calculator for that. For example, here, let me move. Okay, if you check here, this is an angle and this is a right triangle. Why? Because you need to remember the trigonometric function are used in the right triangles. Okay, now the trigonometric functions have values. For example, here, this is an angle of 30, 32, 47, 74. If you calculate the sine of that angle here, sine dot 5369, this is the sine of that angle. You calculate the cosine of that angle, dot 8436. Dot 8436 is the cosine of that angle. If you calculate the tangent of that angle, you have dot 6365. This is the tangent. So this is the sine, cosine, and tangent of that angle. All the values of the that trigonometric functions, that values comes from a circumference of radio of 1. Okay, so if you have 90 degrees, you have one problem with the tangent. This is infinite. Okay, now we have another trigonometric function that are named inverse. That trigonometric functions are using to calculate the angles. Okay, are cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Okay, you only need to remember that at the inverse. Okay, now we will use the trigonometric function to solve right triangles. Okay, the right triangles can be solved by Pythagoras theorem, but you need to have two sides of one right triangle. but you can use an angle on one side using the trigonometric functions to solve that triangles. Okay, for example here, this is a problem for sides. Okay, you want to hold a 20-meter high pole. Yeah, this is 20-meter high, with a cable that is starts from the top of the pole here to the ground. Yeah, but you need to create an angle of 30 degrees. So what is the distance? Yeah, if you look here, you can't apply Pythagoras theorem here. Why? Because you only have one side. This is an angle. To solve that, you need to apply the trigonometric functions. Which one? Okay, this is important here. Which one? Yeah. If you remember, sine used the opposite and the hypotenuse. Cosine used the adjacent and the hypotenuse, and tangent used the opposite and adjacent side. Yeah. Here you need to check what data do you have. For example, here you have one angle, that angle. Okay, what data do you have? The opposite side of that angle, and you need to calculate the hypotenuse. So you need to use the trigonometric function that use that data. Which one? Sine. Opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. So you need to write sine of 30, because you have now the value of, yeah, sine of 30 are equals to the opposite. What is the opposite? 20, and divided by the hypotenuse. You don't know what is the length of the hypotenuse. Yeah. Now, if let me use the calculator here. Yeah, 20. Okay, you need to move the x here and the sine here. Yeah, so 20 divided by 30 sine. Okay, so 20 divided by the sine of 30 are 40. Yeah. Now, another problem. That problem is to calculate angles. An industrial lab is required to illuminate the top of a 30-meter high building. This is the chart. You need to understand that that side are the building of 13 meters of high. Yeah, and the distance between the lamp and the building are 18 meters. So if you want to illuminate the top of the building, you need to find or calculate the angle of that triangle. Yeah, so you need to use again a trigonometric function. Which one? Again, you need to check what data do you have. For example, here you will calculate that angle. For that angle, you have the opposite side and the adjacent side, so you will use tangent. Yeah, tangent. I will use the calculator here again. 13 divided by 18. Yeah, so you will use the inverse of that. You will use the second function here and tangent again, the inverse of tangent. Yeah, this is the result for that exercise. Now we will see the exercise that you will send me. Okay, you will do the exercise number 1 of the unit 2. Yeah, if you remember, you did that exercise, you solved it, but in that case you used Pythagoras theorem. Yeah. Now you will use trigonometric functions. Why? Because you need to calculate angles. Which one? You need to check what data do you have. For example, here, if you will calculate the angle A, you have the opposite side and the adjacent side. You will use here tangent. Yeah. For example, in the second one, if you will calculate the angle A here, you have the opposite side and the hypotenuse. You will use sine. Yeah. You need to check what data do you have for every triangle and check what trigonometric function you can use. Yeah. Okay, we will wait for your homework. See you guys.